Hi, my name is Eric from Railwired, and today, well, first of all, I owe you an apology. I've been a bit quiet lately, but for a good reason. I was busy finishing high school and graduating. I didn't want to just rush out low quality videos just to keep the upload schedule moving. But now that I finally have some free time, I was thinking about how to make a massive impact. I looked at my channel name, Railwired, and it hit me. Let's merge one of the most iconic pieces of railway tech with the absolute fundamentals of electronics. Today we are diving into flip-flop circuits. But what actually is a flip-flop? In electronics we have three main types: astable, bistable and monostable. They mostly differ by their stable state. But what does that even mean? Simply put, a flip-flop is a clever layout where a capacitor slowly discharges through a resistor right into the base of a transistor. This causes the transistor to become conductive and open up the path for the current. In our circuit, we have this exact setup doubled. The capacitors take turns discharging into the bases of the opposite transistors, creating a never-ending loop. By the way, if you love trains and electronics as much as I do, please hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss any of my future crazy projects. If you are wondering where you can actually see this in real life, the answer is pretty much at every single railway crossing with flashing lights. Those two red lights alternating in perfect rhythm with a warning bell. Yep, that's our famous flip-flop circuit in action. But how does the crossing actually know a train is coming? Think of it like this. A certain distance before the crossing, there is a special section of track, and it's an isolated rail joint. It completely cuts off the electrical connection between the regular tracks and the approach zone. When the train arrives, its heavy steel wheels and axles bridge these two isolated sections together. This causes the circuit, sends a signal to the system, lowers the gates, and starts the show. To understand how it works, let's first look at the perfection scenario. And the perfect world only exists inside a computer simulation. As you can see in Simulide, when we hit run, the circuit oscillates a few times and then it just freezes. Both sides stay on. Why? Because in a digital simulator, all components are mathematically perfect. The whole circuit is in a total balance, so it gets stuck in a deadlock. But watch this. The moment I change the value of just one off resistor, we break the symmetry and boom! It starts oscillating beautifully. In the real world, we don't have to fake this because nature and messy component tolerances takes care of the imbalance for us. Now, let's bring this into reality. On my desk, I've got a component tester, some high quality capacitors, 33K resistors, piezo buzzer, red LEDs, a breadboard, some NPN transistors, ceramic caps, and current limiting resistors. Let's wire up the power rails and start building. Current limiting resistors go to the sides. The frequency determining ones go to the middle. And now I'm going to stick the ceramic capacitors in here. Why 10? Because of their capacity. I want to change the time constant, which we call tau. Let's do some quick math. Since we are wiring 5 capacitors in parallel on each side, their capacities simply add up. We go from a blinding 150 Hz down to about 44 Hz. But even at 44, The human eye can't really see it blinking. The LEDs just look like they are jittering uncontrollably. Next, I'll drop in the NPN transistors. Looking at the flat side, from the left to right, we have the collector, base and emitter. I'll finish up the wiring and add the red LEDs and piezo buzzer. Now, when I connect the power, I left one wire to the base disconnected to give the circuit a manual kickstart. But look at this. The LED where the base is disconnected is the only one staying on. This is classic Brotherboard drama. Probably a loose contact or a tiny resistance issue. Let's swap these tiny ceramics for massive electrolytic capacitors to see what happens. I'll also swap the red LEDs for yellow ones and dim the lights so you can see it better. Wow, look at that! One LED fades out and turns back on, while the second one just pulses without ever turning off completely. This is exactly what happens when your analog components aren't perfectly matched. It also explains why the piezo buzzer was screaming non-stop before it was hooked up to the branch that never actually cuts the power. So, what's the ultimate solution? Let's see how this looks with an Arduino Uno. Give me 2 seconds to wire a quick script and I'll be right back. And there you go. Just look at the difference. No messy wires, no mountain of components overflowing the breadboard. Just 2 LEDs, a couple of wires and a perfectly crisp, accurate flash. Technology has moved on, but it's still fascinating to see how just a few lines of code can completely replace a complex analog circuit and do the job on a millisecond precise level. The Arduino is up and running and the crossing is flashing exactly as it should. As I mentioned at the start, now that I have school out of the way, I want to be way more active on this channel. But looking ahead, the future of Railwired is going to be even bigger. My ultimate dream is to become a real-life train driver. But there's a massive catch. The medical exams are brutally strict and I'm currently battling obesity. Since I'm a maker at heart, I decided to take this problem the only way I know how, by building. I'm planning to design my own DIY medical dashboard using Arduino or ESP32 to track my ECG, blood oxygen, heart rate, temperature and weight, so I can monitor my progress and get in a perfect shape for the railway exams. One way or another, trains and tech are going to merge on this channel like never before. If you want to join me on this journey, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and I'll see you next time. Bye!